attending the 11th National Animal Rights Day. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Shauna Gray, and I'm one of the co-organizers of this event. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time introducing myself right now, because I'm sure you'll get to know me through the day, but I'd like to start with a land acknowledgement. As we're gathered here today, it's important to acknowledge this earth and her inhabitants. I'm Nakota of Chegakin Nation, and this is the land of my ancestors that we have occupied since time immemorial. So I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are on the traditional land of the Cree, Ojibwe, Saulteaux, Dakota, Nakota, Lakota, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. This is Treaty 6 territory, and the city of Saskatoon and all the people here are beneficiaries of this peace and friendship treaty. Further, I would like to acknowledge the animals with whom we have traditionally shared these lands. Colonization has been oppressive to the Indigenous inhabitants, human and non-human. As a group seeking justice, equity, an end to oppression, and a non-violent world, we are committed to working collaboratively in the spirit of healing and reconciliation. This acknowledgement also reaffirms our relationship with one another. With the discovery of the 215 children buried outside the residential school in Kamloops, we are seeing the horrors of colonization writ large in our society, and it is so important that we find ways to support one another during these times. Thank you so much. Next, I'd like to invite two young people, my daughters Saj and Cohen, to read the Declaration of Animal Rights. So Saj is 15 and Cohen is 10, and they've been vegan since birth. And they're both animal rights, environmental, and social justice activists. In fact, Saj is one of the 15 youth that's taking the Canadian government to court in the LaRose versus the Queen climate case. They're both creative and they enjoy the performing arts, even though sometimes they're still nervous, and also the visual arts, which you maybe will see later if they can get to do some chalking. So, girls, if you want to come over here. Are you going to stand back here? So the Declaration of Animal Rights is a document that was drafted in May 2011, and it's read aloud and signed at every National Animal Rights Day. You can also sign it online, so if we can get our tech organized, maybe we'll have that set up for you guys too if you want, but we're going to do like a ceremonial signing of it if it's not soaking wet over there. And if you feel so moved, you can definitely sign that today after the ceremony. So.
Since the dawn of humanity, there remains a group so persistently abused and marginalized that their suffering is ingrained in our everyday lives. If animals could freely talk, their chorus of cries would drown out every other sound in the world. We are all animals. We are all living, breathing beings who share the same earth. We all feel pain and suffer when we are hurt or deprived of our lives, our families, our freedom. We all have the right to experience kindness, compassion, and dignity. We believe in the kinship of all beings and the possibility for us to coexist in peace and harmony on Earth.
Considering that we all living beings on planet Earth came originally from the same source and followed the same evolutional principles.
Considering that all living beings on planet Earth inhabit the same lands, seas, and air, and therefore share them and their resources to live within and live off of, comprising one ecological system.
Considering that all living beings possess the same basic needs to survive, to seek happiness and pleasure, and avoid pain, to live comfortably, to procreate, create families, and other social structures.
Considering that all living beings, as known to humankind, are sentient beings, and therefore can feel pain, pleasure, sensations, feelings, and emotions.
Considering that the human species is only one of millions of animal species and comprises a minute minority in number compared to the billions of animals living on this planet.
We hereby proclaim that
we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all beings are created equal and have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of their happiness.
therefore all animals have the same natural right to exist as any other beings.
All animals have the right to be free to live their lives on their own terms as intended by nature.
All animals have the right to eat, sleep, be physically and psychologically comfortable, be mobile, healthy, safe, and fulfill their natural and essential needs. As such, all animals are to be free from hunger, thirst, malnutrition, physical discomfort, and exhaustion, confinement against their will, bad treatment, abusive or cruel actions, pain, injury, and disease, fear and distress, and be free to express their normal patterns of behavior.
All animals have the right to reproduce, live with their offspring, families, tribes, or communities, and maintain a natural social life. They have the right to live in their natural environment, grow a rhythm natural to their species, and maintain a life that corresponds to their natural longevity.
Animals are not the property or commodity of humans, and are not theirs to use for our benefit or sustenance. Therefore, they are to be free from slavery, exploitation, oppression, victimization, brutality, abuse, and any other treatment that disregards their safety, own free will, and dignity. They should not be slaughtered for food, killed for their skins, experimented on, killed for religious purposes, used for forced labor, abused and killed for sport and entertainment, abused for commercial profit, hunted, persecuted, or exterminated for human pleasure, need, or any other means.
Humans shall do whatever is within their means to protect all animals. Any animal who is dependent on a human has the right to proper sustenance and care, and shall not be neglected, abandoned, or killed.
An animal who has died must be treated with respect and dignity as humans are.
We call for the protection of these rights. They must be recognized and defended by law as human rights are. Any act which compromises the well-being or survival of the rights of an animal or species, or jeopardizes, contradicts, or deprives an animal or species of the rights listed above should be deemed a crime and should be punished accordingly.
Thank you.